Hi, it's Katrina! From walkways hanging above the clouds to bridges that wobble and crack and just might collapse as you drive over them, here are 12 of the scariest bridges in the world. Number 12. Glass walkways in China. Did you know that there's a term for a phobia of bridges? It's called gephyrophobia, and it sometimes goes hand in hand with a fear of heights called acrophobia, or a feeling of being trapped known as agoraphobia. Do you have any of these? Let me know in the comments below. These bridges in China might be tough even for the bravest. China is at the forefront of a growing architectural trend in glass walkways. Why? I guess they like to shock people and have a great time watching people freaking out. The Changjiajie Glass Bridge is a transparent glass-bottomed skywalk over the Grand Canyon in central China's Hunan province. At 984 feet high and 1,411 feet long, it's the world's highest and longest glass bridge. It opened in the summer of 2016, less than a year after a suspended glass walkway cracked in Yuntai Mountain Scenic Park in Henan province. Park officials insisted that the crack was no threat to people's safety, but many accused them of downplaying the severity of the situation. While learning of such an incident might deter some people from ever going near a glass walkway, it apparently had no effect on the 80,000 daily visitors who flocked to the glass bridge after it opened. To ensure safety, there's a strict limit of 800 people allowed on the walkway at any given time. If you want to visit, it looks like there might be a waiting list for tickets, so to be safe, try to get them in advance. Tickets cost about $30. Meanwhile, in the East Taihang Mountains of northern China's Hebei province, there's another glass walk bridge, and this one looks like it's out to get you. It's 3,800 feet high, and while this might seem scary enough, it will actually crack as you step on it. People freak out as they see the transparent glass that was supposed to be supporting them start to shatter before their eyes. A promotional video of the walkway cautions visitors about what to expect. The footage shows a tour guide stumbling over and falling to his knees when he notices the cracks, which grow larger as he hits the glass. In reality, the glass is inspected daily, and the cracking is an optical illusion powered by LED screens. The cracks disappear in seconds, but it's plenty of time to scare the daylights out of someone as they walk hundreds of stories over the mountain valley. While some people think this special effect is clever or amusing, others have referred to it as a cruel joke and bad marketing. What do you think about this trick? Would you walk on this bridge? Let me know in the comments below. I went on the Grand Canyon Skywalk here in the US and I really liked it, but my brother kind of had a panic attack and couldn't do it. Don't tell him I told you. Number 11. Kuandinsky Bridge. The Kuandinsky Bridge in Siberia is an old train bridge that crosses over the Vitim River. While the train bridge has been rebuilt, the old structure remains and is part of the Baikal-Amur Mainline Road, a popular attraction for adventure seekers. At 1,640 feet long and just 6 feet wide, it's essentially a metal frame covered in rotting wooden planks. There are no safety barriers to protect vehicles from falling into the river as drivers navigate along the precarious path, with just inches of wiggle room on either side of their car. The Kuandinsky Bridge is not officially considered a vehicle bridge, so it hasn't been repaired or maintained in over 30 years. It's dilapidated, to say the least, from both the elements and heavy cars, which have caused numerous holes in the decaying wood. Crossing becomes even more dangerous with the area's frequent snow and ice, which make the bridge's wooden surface slippery. To prevent strong winds from pushing cars into the water, people often roll all their windows down while crossing, which can't be very comfortable during a typical below-freezing Siberian winter when the winds over the Vitim River are the strongest. Surprisingly, there are no known fatalities or accidents related to the Kuandinsky Bridge, so just close your eyes and give it a go. Number 10. Trift Bridge, Switzerland. There are many bridges in Switzerland, but easily one of the scariest and most dangerous ones is the Trift Bridge. It might make you feel a bit nauseous. It's a pedestrian suspension bridge high up in the Alps. It's pretty long at 170 meters and hangs at 100 meters into the air. Originally built in 2004 and replaced in 2009, it was built for workers from the Trift hydroelectric plant to access a power plant that was built below Trift Glacier. This new one is sturdier, thank goodness, but hangs over a gap in the mountains, which gives people vertigo. While it is solid, it is hard to get to, and if too many people are on it, it will start to wobble, and there isn't a lot of room to maneuver, so if you make it there to this impressive sight, just go for it. Number 9. Hussaini Hanging Bridge. Many consider the Hussaini Hanging Bridge in northern Pakistan to be the world's most dangerous bridge. It runs across the Hunza River and is made of ropes and planks with massive gaps in between. The bridge is prone to swinging wildly, courtesy of the nearly constant cold winds from the nearby mountains. So not only is it scary, but also cold. No thanks. It runs parallel to the remains of an earlier bridge of the same style, which was built in 1967–68 at the direction of Pakistan's then-president Ayub Khan. The first bridge was destroyed by the elements, and its dangling remnants serve as a constant reminder of the new structure's fragility. Thanks to the internet, the Hussaini Hanging Bridge has become somewhat of a tourist attraction for those daring enough to test the steadiness of their step. Not exactly what people who vacation for rest and relaxation have in mind. How about you? Do you want to go check out this bridge? Let me know in the comments. Number 8. Chesapeake Bay Bridge. Built in 1952, the William Preston Lane Jr. Memorial Bridge spans Maryland's Chesapeake Bay. At 4.3 miles long, it was once the world's longest continuous over-water steel structure. It's 186 feet tall at its highest point and is quite narrow, with low guardrails and no pull-offs. The bridge sees extreme weather, including high winds and violent storms. Because of this, it's known as one of the world's scariest bridges, and possibly the scariest bridge in the United States. It has closed on several occasions due to weather such as hurricanes, nor'easters, and winds exceeding 55 miles per hour. Thousands of people are terrified of driving over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, and many believe it's unsafe, especially after a 2008 head-on collision that caused a tractor-trailer to fall into the water below. While the Maryland Transportation Authority denies any structural or engineering problems, the danger feels very real to many. Some people are really afraid of the bridge, and many people have had severe panic attacks just at the mere thought of crossing it. Thankfully, there are several companies who will have a driver shuttle your vehicle across for around $25 each way. This service brings peace of mind to people who are uncomfortable driving over the bridge themselves, especially those who must cross it regularly. Number 7. Austrian Road Bridges. Austrian prisoners of war built the Austrian Road in eastern Kazakhstan from 1915 to 1917 during World War I. Located in the Altai Mountains, it links the country's Katon-Karagai Valley to Lake Markakol, then continues along the Chinese border. The 37-mile-long gravel road climbs up several mountain passes at high altitudes of up to 7,000 feet above sea level and has 16 wooden bridges that run over the Karakoba River. The Austrian Road is famous as an amazing feat of engineering and for its picturesque surroundings, but it's rather remote and rugged and is sometimes impassable due to snow or heavy rain. You must travel with caution, especially over the road's bridges, many of which are deteriorating and are of questionable load capacity. Travelers must decide on their own whether to try crossing a bridge, as there are probably no other humans anywhere nearby. Sometimes there's no choice of whether or not to cross a bridge, as some of these structures have collapsed. In these cases, the only options are to turn around or drive through the river. Number 6. Deception Pass Bridge. The Deception Pass Bridge is a two-lane structure connecting Whidbey Island and Fidalgo in Deception Pass State Park via Washington State Route 20. It sits 180 feet above the water and is 1,486 feet long. While the bridge offers breathtaking views of the nearby scenery, you might not be able to enjoy it on a foggy day when visibility levels drop to nearly zero. When you can see, the view might be frightening despite being rather pretty, as the Deception Pass Bridge travels high over dangerous rushing waters which can be heard from above. Construction on the dual-span bridge began in 1934 and was completed in 1935 using 1,500 tons of steel. Today, roughly 15,000 vehicles pass over it daily, and there's also a narrow pedestrian lane on the edge of the bridge. Would you walk over Deception Bridge? Let me know in the comments below. Number 5. Lake Pontchartrain Causeway Bridge. The 24-mile-long Causeway Bridge over Lake Pontchartrain in Louisiana is the world's longest bridge over continuous water. It was featured on Modern Marvels and is an amazing feat of engineering. When New Orleans experienced growth during the 1940s and 50s, its expansion was inhibited by the inability to easily travel there from north of the city and vice versa. At the time, doing so required a time-consuming drive around the lake. The southbound causeway opened in 1956 after just 14 months of construction. The second bridge, which runs roughly 84 feet parallel to the first, opened in 1969. Whether the Causeway Bridge is boring or utterly frightening depends on the driver. For an 8-mile stretch, there is no land in sight, and it seems as if you're passing over the open sea. While this doesn't faze some people, it's known to cause others to have panic attacks, sometimes to the point of needing a police escort back to land. I think on this one I'd be okay. How about you? Number 4. Ashima Ohashi Bridge. Nicknamed the roller coaster bridge due to its steepness, the Ashima Ohashi Bridge runs over Lake Nakaumi in Japan, connecting the cities of Matsue and Sakaiminato. Built in 2004, it's roughly a mile long with a 6.1% gradient on one side and a 5.1% gradient on the other. It's about 144 feet tall, enabling boats to pass underneath. From a straight-on angle, the bridge looks utterly terrifying, as if there's nothing beyond the top of the shockingly steep incline, and it suddenly ends at the summit. While it isn't as steep as it looks from below, driving across it is bound to be a challenge for anyone with a fear of heights. The Ashima Ohashi Bridge is primarily used by motorists, but it's also pedestrian and cyclist friendly. For those who are crazy enough to want to walk or bike over it, I don't think I'd be able to make it. I'm already out of breath. Number 3. Duj Bay Panjang Bridge. The 4,400-foot-long Bay Panjang Bridge crosses above the Valley and Beipan River in southwestern China's Jiangsu province. Since its completion in 2016, it's held the title for the world's highest bridge, sitting at 1,854 feet at its highest point. So don't look down. Jiangsu province is home to vastly uneven terrain, including mountains, plateaus, canyons, and valleys. Consequently, 3 of the world's 5 highest bridges are located there, with the Duj Bridge topping the list. The implementation of bridges in Jiangsu drastically shortens journeys between cities, which would otherwise require drivers to travel around the dramatic landscape. Pretty, but not very time efficient. The Duj Bridge connects the cities of Liupanshui in the Jiangsu province and Chuanwei in the Yunnan province, reducing travel time from 4 hours to just 1 hour. Throughout its construction, engineers repeatedly adjusted the bridge's height and location to avoid caves and cracking, and to ensure its structural integrity. While the view from the bridge is beautiful, I think it's safe to say be careful and don't get distracted while driving over it. Number 2. Mackinac Bridge. Nicknamed Mighty Mac, the 5-mile-long Mackinac Bridge connects Michigan's upper and lower peninsulas. That's fun to say, Mackinac. Opened in 1957, it's the world's 5th longest suspension bridge and the longest in the Western Hemisphere. The bridge sits 200 feet above the water at its highest point. It can move as much as 35 feet east or west to accommodate wind and temperature fluctuations, according to the Mackinac Bridge Authority's official website, which reassures readers that the movement happens slowly, so don't worry. While Mighty Mac is indeed structurally sound, it's oftentimes majorly anxiety-inducing. It's known to incur high winds in excess of 30 miles per hour and is even occasionally shut down for this reason. Conditions also become incredibly foggy at times, hindering visibility. This may sound more inconvenient than scary, but for many, the thought of driving over the bridge is too much to bear. Luckily, the Mackinac Bridge Authority's Driver's Assistance Program provides free drivers upon request, who shuttle motorists over the bridge in their own vehicle. In a 2013 interview with ABC News, Mackinac Bridge Secretary Bob Sweeney reported that many people use the service, including regular commuters. There's a truck driver who comes once a month. He gets into a sleeper behind the cab and lays down for the whole trip under a blanket, he explained. But sometimes even a chauffeur isn't enough to alleviate someone's fears, including Sweeney's brother-in-law, who has never been to Sweeney's home because it requires crossing the bridge. Number 1. IP3 Bridges. The politically unstable Crimean Peninsula is currently caught in a tug-of-war between Ukraine and Russia. Politics aside, it's a beautiful region that many travelers have come to appreciate and many others hope to someday visit. The IP3 Bridges are a pair of wood slate cable footbridges located at the Petri Peak of the Crimea Mountains. They cross over a 4,200-foot deep canyon, where fog is frequent and winds reach up to 100 miles per hour. Although the bridges were built in recent years and are structurally sound, it's normal to feel them swaying back and forth while you walk above the clouds, which to many is undoubtedly a frightening experience. The bridges are accessible via a 15-minute cable car ride up the mountain. Based on IP3's TripAdvisor ratings, the journey is worthwhile, offering stunning and surreal views of the Black Sea and surrounding cities of Yalta and Alupka. The bridges lead to the peak peak of IP3, which is topped by a tall cross. Thanks for watching! Have you visited any of these bridges? Are there any you wouldn't go across? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time! Bye!